Hi, my name is Randy Benefield, and this is for SPCE 683, and this is going to be a discussion on prompt hierarchy. And prompt hierarchy is extremely important when teaching learners with autism, because some may be stuck on some areas of learning and need some assistance, and some may not have the coping skills or the ability to problem solve. So we want to ensure what we call errorless learning in order for them to increase the probability of their behavior of getting the answers correct. We also, at that point, create what we call behavior momentum, which gives them more confidence and more praise, and then more compliance as well. The first is that there's a couple ways of looking at prompt hierarchy. One is teaching from least to most prompts, or most to least, and it just depends on the learner's ability to accomplish that task. Some may need more prompting, some may need less prompting. However, when you're doing like a discrete trial and you push an array of items in front of them to choose from, and they're not able to choose on one, but they're able to choose on another one independently, we might mark that one as like a gesture or a visual or a partial prompt, depending on their ability. But also, we want to make sure we prompt with with those levels for those items to ensure errorless learning. So let's first go over least to most. First, we want to start with a visual prompt. Okay, so a visual prompt may be like a schedule, their daily schedule, to know what they're to do next. It also could be like I had a kiddo that was going to melt down in a classroom before, and I would walk by and I would just set a little piece of paper, laminated piece of paper, like a 3x5 card, right on his desk. And that way it would show him to say, take 3 deep breaths and count to 5, or something like that. And those are just visual prompts to give them an extra boost to ensure that their success. Secondly, verbal prompt. So a verbal prompt is just as what it sounds like. We would, I had a kiddo, we'd ask, how was your weekend? And it would tell us how his weekend was, but he wouldn't ask, how the other person's weekend was. So then we would try to teach him, to ask the question back to the others. And so I had the BI, my behavior interventionist there, and I said, I wonder how John's weekend was. And the learner would say, I don't know. And then I would say, how would you find out? He said, John, how was your weekend? And we said, oh, great job asking how was your weekend. Of course, you want to reinforce very quickly to ensure that the probability or the likelihood of that behavior increasing. Again, we're creating errorless learning. Now, if you needed more prompts, we could have prompted them a little bit more. Maybe I could have done a visual with that as well. Or then maybe I could have modeled. But I'll get into that in a second. The next is gestural prompt. So the other day, I was with another behavior interventionist and a kiddo, and he was having kind of a meltdown, and he was finally getting him to turn it around. And then he finally said, what are you looking at? And all I did was point to where he needs to be and what he needs to be doing, and he gets up and does it. And so, because I already knew that he did not need for me to give any other verbal prompts, he already knew what it was expected of him. So all I did was just give him a gesture. He did it. Okay, and then of course reinforced him immediately for responding. Modeling. So modeling is extremely important, especially when we're doing like task analysis. Maybe the child doesn't know really which way to brush their teeth. Maybe they're just kind of like, maybe they're just kind of like this, whatever. But maybe they're supposed to be going up and down or around. Maybe they're supposed to be getting in back a little bit more. So we want to model. So I could take a toothbrush and show them what they're supposed to be doing on that component of the task analysis, and then they can model from that. Then partial physical prompt. So for instance, if again they weren't able to do the up and down, maybe I could put my hand underneath the elbow and just kind of like gently, just kind of push gently and see if that would work. And if he started doing that, then he would, successful with his the task analysis there. And then also the same with a discrete trial. If I need to push the array, could not independently say, that's a horse. I say, show me the horse, could not show me the horse. I did a gesture by pointing to the on the next array, showing, show me the horse. Still could not, I could do what is called a partial physical by just kind of pushing the elbow to see if they actually then point their finger onto the correct response. Then the most intrusive is full physical prompt. So let's say we know our kiddo cannot do that task and they need assistance for so many times until they learn that, and then we fade that prompt later on. But let's say they need the full physical, then I would do hand over hand here, brushing the teeth, showing, how, and then I maybe let go a little bit, or maybe go to the elbow, in time, but here, or if then they need to show me the horse on their discrete trial, then I would say, oh, that's the horse, and so to ensure errorless learning, that way they don't get frustrated and give up. The goal is to keep them learning and keep them engaged and willing to learn. So the reverse is most intrusive to least intrusive, and depending on the learner's level, abilities, and what they've accomplished already in the prompting levels, is that maybe some may need most in the beginning. Maybe one will need full physical prompt on some items. Maybe they'll need a gestural prompt on something else, and maybe partial physical on another until those are faded, and then we can get down eventually to independent. So I hope that helps you understand this. This visual here is from busybeespeech.com, and I found this on the website. I thought it was a pretty clever illustration of the prompt hierarchies. So I hope you enjoyed this and learned a lot, and I'm available for any questions and for training and modeling. Thank you.